So, hi everyone, we're here for our next quick video on the housing unit, which is a part of the common part under your GATE architecture and planning syllabus. So this video is actually a component of the Safal Together's coaching program that's going on. And this could be a preview to the actual course. And if you really like the video or if you want to be enrolled, then reach out to Safal and the team for joining the course. Okay. So under housing, we basically have major 5 contents. The first is the housing typologies, which we're going to take a look at in today's video. Besides this, we're going to have concepts, principles, and examples of neighborhood. We have residential densities, demographic growth, how do you calculate densities, the affordable housing unit, and then the real estate valuation. Okay. As a quick introduction into housing, so we all know that housing is actually one of the 3 basic needs, food, shelter, and clothing. काफी लोग बोलते हैं कि पानी is also, मतलब water is also one of the basic needs. So there's an entire separate debate about whether or not water is included, and some of them include it under food, etc. Okay, so I'm not getting into that debate for now, but then all we know is shelter is a very important component for any human. Okay, so in terms of GATE or in terms of architecture and planning, housing is the social problem of ensuring that everybody has a home to live. Okay, every member of the society, everyone, despite their socioeconomic classes, despite their, personal preferences, etc., they need to have a house, a home to live. This could be a house, it could be a dwelling unit, it could be a lodging, it could be shelter. Okay, so the cost of housing is actually driven by numerous factors. The demographic shifts, supply and demand, shifts in economic policies, elevation in financial instruments, public policies like land use zoning, etc. Okay, so I'm not going to go deeper into that. That's just a formal introduction. Coming to the main topic of our video. So the first is the types of housing. So there's a very minor difference between the types and typologies, the terms. Okay, so types of housing talks about the different categories of buildings where people are living based on the physical structure, number of units, etc. Okay, so examples are rural housing, urban housing, mass housing, slum housing, etc. So rural housing, these are the houses in the rural areas, which is villages and towns. Urban housing talks about the housing in urban areas with higher population density. And yahan pe, there's always a housing shortage that is prevalent. Okay, because the number of people that are moving to cities and moving to urban areas in terms of job, in terms of education, healthcare, it is very fast, and it outpaces the kind of supply that we give into the market. So urban housing may demand supply का gap है, which is a concept that we explore in the class. Then we have mass housing, which talks about planning hundreds of units together, उसमें कम area, lower cost of construction, etc. And then it also has AWS and affordable housing. The slum housing is a highly populated urban residential area, and it has closely packed and decrepit housing units. And you also have deteriorated or incomplete infrastructure over there. When it comes to typologies, it's a more architectural term where you talk about it in terms of the form, in terms of arrangement, and the kind of relationship it has to its surrounding. In a detached house, you can include bungalows and mansions under it. A semi-detached house is where a common wall is usually shared between 2 houses. And when we have multiple houses that are lined up one after another, it forms a row house. Okay, so we have townhouses, shop house. Shop houses are basically the mixed-use typologies that we're looking at. And housing is usually classified based on numerous parameters. Okay, so there's based on size, based on its form, etc. Okay, so this is a broad overview of the kind of typologies of houses. Okay, so we have single detached, we have semi-detached, duplex, and a narrow lot that's there. This is not a very common Indian example. Then we have row houses, and row housing may or more number of units. So this is a triplex, which is a 3-unit row house. This is a 4plex, which is a 4-unit row house. This is a 5-unit row house. We have courtyard houses with single, detached, semi-detached, or multi-family. We have mid-rise apartments, high-rise apartments, high-rise apartments on plinths or podiums. We have low-rise apartments, which is up to 4 stories. Okay, and then we also have stacked row houses. These are all common housing typologies that we see on a day-to-day basis. Okay, so that brings us to the end of today's video. If you want to know more about housing, I would suggest you join the course at Safal, and let's prepare for GATE 2026 together.